Job description of EMA coordinator Will Pavlik to no longer require him to live in the county, but rather within a 25-mile radius of the courthouse. This was done at his request. The committee also reviewed the contract of J&M Critter Care to clarify some of the language at the DeWitt County Animal Control Facility. It's the team that cleans the animal control facility and feeds the animals on weekends and holidays. Many schools across the country host homecoming celebrations in the fall, but one Central Illinois school district does things a little different. On the WHOW morning show Wednesday, DeLand-Weldon student council sponsor Ashley Hieronymus told Regional Radio as a part of its high school road tour, they celebrate homecoming during the basketball season due to their football co-op with Blue Ridge.
We co-op with Blue Ridge for football, and so we aren't able to have homecoming here, and so we support Blue Ridge's homecoming. All of us teachers went to the homecoming game to support our boys, to support Blue Ridge, and so we're there. We support that homecoming, but it's not our students' homecoming.
Yeah.
So we hold homecoming in the winter for our boys' basketball. And so next week we have homecoming week. It's jungle theme this year. We'll have a dance Saturday the 25th. We have Spirit Week. We have a lot of fun activities planned for the week. And, a lot of times schools do parades and they do floats, and of course it's winter, so we don't have that. And so something our kids do is they have a section of the hallway, and so they have to decorate that section that goes with the theme, and then it's voted on. And so there's a winner for the best hallway decorations, and there's a pep assembly and that kind of thing.
This has been a tradition at DeLand-Weldon for many years. Hieronymus says it can help students through the lull of the school year during January and February.
I think that they're used to it.
Yeah.
They know, especially the freshmen coming in, they know that this is when our homecoming is. And so I think that they're used to it. It's kind of a nice coming back from winter, kind of that nice little break a few weeks into school. January is cold and not really exciting month. Yeah. And so this gives them that excitement and able to move forward from there.
Get more information on all the things happening at DeLand-Weldon Schools at dwschools.org and follow them on social media. Tune in on Wednesday, January 22nd to hear our next stop on the WHOW High School Road Tour in Hayworth. The recent avian influenza outbreak has affected zoos across the country, and a local zoo leader is closely monitoring the situation. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, Miller Park Zoo Executive Director Jay Pratt told Regional Radio the spread of avian influenza could be terrifying because of its constant mutations.
It's terrifying. When this first showed up a few years ago and zoos were starting to deal with, along with people, the agriculture industry, it affected people's, backyard and home chicken coops. It was mostly confined, starting off like kind of in waterfowl, ducks, geese, whatever, and then it would affect other, bird populations. But HPAI, what we're doing, and there's so many people studying this right now, from USDA to AZA to the CDC, it keeps changing and mutating like what we watched COVID do. And right now, the strain that is prevalent is completely different from what we first saw when HPAI made its highly pathological avian influenza, the bird flu, or HPAI. When it first appeared, the strain that we see now is not even the same. Like, it's completely different from the original, or even strains from like 6 months ago. And this strain, there was also, people will remember that COVID weirdly, well, we know people were susceptible to it, obviously. The weasel family proved incredibly susceptible, and then so did big cats. And there were several other species as well, but weasels and big cats were a real surprise in that one. And this time around, actually, it was figured out because inspectors, federal veterinary inspectors, were seeing problems with the outdoor and feral cats at feedlots and dairies while they were inspecting for human grade meat and food. And then that's when they started investigating and realized it was affecting the cattle. It was affecting cats. Wow. And so we're really not quite sure what all it's going to affect, but we know it's affecting several different species of birds right now. There's documented cases from vultures to ducks to flamingos. And there was one facility in the Northwest that lost almost 20 cats in just a few days because the signs are very different and not what you expect. And for the symptoms don't prevent for how severe the consequences will be in a very short time. So it's something we have to be on top of, not just for our bird collection, but for all the animals.
According to Pratt, the most common way the disease is spread is through things like fecal matter and urine. It can also be problematic in waterways that are inhabited by geese and other birds.
The way that it has been reported at this time to be passing through is a lot of it is contact, but that can be through, as always, discharge and anything that comes out of a body. So it could honestly be, well, you always think, fecal matter, your nasal fluids and secretions, mucous membranes, like those sorts of things, which gets left everywhere. A lot of these zoos, we're near lakes, we're near rivers where you see like a lot of waterfowl. Like we're surrounded by Canada geese, here where we are right now. But then the other one is with it affecting, birds and cattle. The other route that they've learned is ingestion, that these animals can ingest contaminated meat and they can actually contract it that way. So we're monitoring and setting up not only biosecurity measures to try and protect the animals from the physical aspects as best we can, we're also reviewing like all of our food sources and ensuring that they're certified for human grade and quality and inspection to try and protect them that way too.
There have been no reported cases at the Miller Park Zoo area, and Pratt says at the moment, guests should not notice any difference in their visits to the park.
For right now, we have not, to my knowledge, had any reported cases in this area. Our team, we are meeting and working nonstop and with our veterinarians and with other zoos to adapt. The first round, everybody was like, oh my God, we need to protect all our birds. Birds got locked up, they got brought indoors, they were secured. Some of them for months, but those birds aren't used to that, and it impacted their behavioral welfare poorly. And so now the balance, like all of us with COVID's the new flu. Well, HPAI and its variations, they're not going to go anywhere. And while we'll see spikes and surges as a result of migrations of birds and seasonal changes, we have to now come up with plans long-term that don't mean lock the whole zoo down and lock it up. Right now, we have not taken any extra measures, but we're really going to pay attention to if visitors can access our birds. And if we were, for example, to have cases test positive here in Bloomington or at the zoo, we would probably I know at Lincoln Park announced they're going to close their bird building. Other zoos have done that just for that extra measure of protection during the surge. Gotcha. We haven't hit that yet, but we are discussing it internally as to what we're going to do if we see or have reported cases nearby or here.
Get more information on the Miller Park Zoo in Bloomington by visiting mpzs.org or find them on social media. News time is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Friday. Stay with us. More to come on the WHOW Morning Show.
Happy New Year from all of us at Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Most of our customers trade for a different SUV or truck because their needs change each year. That's good because we have transportation options for you. Plus, we need your trade. Our selection of top quality, pre-owned trades come from you. Come see our ever-changing new Chevrolet and Buick inventory today. BaumChevyBuick.com. Right from the start.
News time is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. The Illinois Farm Bureau is actively engaged Student of the Month for January is a Freeburg Community High School senior, Max Beal. He told the RFD Radio Network that he is proud to be an FFA'er.
So with FFA, I am very involved with it. I try to compete in as many CDEs as possible whenever I'm not busy with other stuff with sports and farming. A couple of the CDEs I've competed in are livestock judging, equine, food sciences, and a couple other proficiencies.
Give us the backstory on your interest in swine production.
So my interest with swine and overall, I've lived on a farm my whole entire life. I'll be the 6th generation on our family farm. We started in The farm was originally bought in 1859 by George Beale. We have been in business for over 150 years. So on our farm, we do a lot. We do a range from livestock and crops.
And then how active are you involved in the farm with all of these other activities that you're involved in?
I try to be as active as I can when I'm not doing sports or involved with FFA. During my downtime and done with schoolwork, I'll be up on the farm trying to help as much as I can with my dad and grandpa.
How do you make the schedule work and then also find the right balance?
It's time management, just making sure you have enough time to do everything and then being able to fit in the time for the other stuff and then also fitting time in for family.
He's a member of the Turkey Hill Busy Bees 4-H Club in St. Clair County and participates in manners, minorities in agriculture, natural resources, and related sciences. Beal is also an IHSA bowler and roams the outfield on the Freeburg baseball team. To nominate a student for the Illinois Farm Bureau Actively Engaged Student of the Month, visit farmweeknow.com/actively engaged. Roadways are feeling some pressure from recent winter weather, but it hasn't been too bad yet, according to an IDOT engineer. District 8's Joe Monroe says they are keeping an eye on the roads and the freeze-thaw cycle that is fed by swings in weather conditions that may ramp up later this week and into the weekend.
Only had one, what we call freeze-thaw cycle versus multiple. Looks like the pavement temperatures with the sun, though, may come up. I think you'll see them get progressively worse throughout the week as the temperatures continue to seesaw between freezing and not freezing, at least from the pavement perspective. But there's plenty of moisture in the pavement.
Moisture that gets down to into the cracks in the pavement and stays liquid during the day may freeze at night, causing the pavement to fail. Can't stop coughing? It's a common question happening with all the upper respiratory illness going around, including colds, flu, and RSV. Even if you've kicked the virus that you had down a couple weeks ago, the cough may linger, and a lot of times it's due to local inflammation that persists. That's the observation of Juan Bacos Ayala, a pulmonologist in the intensive care unit at OSF Healthcare, who says many times you may treat the cough at home, but there are times you should see a professional.
As long as you don't have some of the red flags. And the things we worry about are if the patient complains about a persistent fever, a high-grade fever, something that's lasting more than 24, 48 hours, 72 hours, something that won't go away in spite of using some temporary measures such as Tylenol, Motrin. If this persists over 2 or 3 days, then that might be something that has to be looked at.
Over-the-counter options can include Claritin D, Benadryl, Allegra, or Mucinex. To try and stay healthy, he advises washing your hands, cover your cough, and stay home if you're sick. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum celebrates Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy on Monday by presenting his most famous speech and hosting a blood drive on the holiday that is often called a National Day of Service. Guests can even enjoy a performance by a string quartet. The highlight of the day is actor Reggie Guyton regarding King's I Have a Dream speech. He will perform at 10:30 and 12:30 in the museum's main plaza. King originally delivered the speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial during a 1963 Civil Rights March in Washington. He praised Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation as a great beacon of hope, a light of hope, but has said African Americans were still chained by segregation and discrimination. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum will give people a chance to help others by hosting a blood drive that same day from 10:30 to 1:30. Donating blood requires minimal time and effort, yet it has an immeasurable impact on others. The need for donations is especially high in winter months when bad weather can lead to accidents while also forcing people to cancel donation appointments. Impact Life Bloodmobile will be parked in front of the museum entrance at 212 North 6th Street. Schedule an appointment to donate by visiting bloodcenter.org. Impact Life is the sole supplier of blood to Springfield Memorial Hospital, HSHS St. John's Hospital, and other local hospitals. Museum visitors can also enjoy a musical performance on King Day. A string quartet will play music written specifically for the special exhibit Freedom in Form, Richard Hunt. The quartet will perform in the exhibit itself at 1 to 3 p.m. Hunt's sculptures include a monument to King, and his work was inspired by the civil rights movement and the struggles of African Americans. For more information, visit presidentlincoln.illinois.gov. You can also follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In just a matter of days, a new president will reside on Pennsylvania Avenue, and an Illinois Republican plans to have legislation waiting for him. Congressman Darren LaHood serves on the Ways and Means Committee, the oldest tax-writing body in the House of Representatives. The Dunlap Republican says the committee plans to have tax legislation waiting on former President Trump in the Oval Office.
If we do nothing this year, we'll have $4.5 trillion of tax increases on the American people. That's because we passed a bill in 2017 called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that really created the best economy in our lifetime because we lowered taxes on individuals, but on small and medium-sized businesses, we moved 6.5 million people out of poverty. Those provisions expire at the end of 2025. So we are hard at work on the Ways and Means Committee. It'll be the first thing out of the gate when President Trump gets sworn in on January 20th. We're working right now on whether we're going to do one or two bills through reconciliation to do this, but it is imperative that, we make sure that we keep our tax code at a lower rate, particularly for middle-class folks and lower-income folks that will benefit from this. And so that's what we're working towards. That's our goal. But as you know, we only have a 2-seat majority in the House of Representatives, so there's going to be some challenges.
During his previous term in the White House, President-elect Trump issued sweeping tax cuts for Americans in 2017, and Trump promised to extend the tax cuts on the campaign trail if he was reelected. 28 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday, a quick look at this morning's obituaries. 91-year-old Beverly Eileen Basting of Anna, formerly of Clinton, passed away at her residence in Anna on January 12th. Services for 91-year-old Beverly Eileen Basting will be at 11 a.m. this morning at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton, with Pastor Jonathan Robertson officiating. The burial will follow at Lance Cemetery in Carlock. The visitation will be from 10 to 11 this morning at the funeral home. Memorials can be directed to the Illinois Veterans Home of Anna, Illinois. Coverage of news today brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. And we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Coming up in sports this morning, Clinton embarks on its Central Illinois Conference slate tonight in boys basketball action, and a Blue Ridge senior reached 1,000 points last week for his career. Those stories next in sports.
With Equity Protect. With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams.
In NBA action last night, the two top teams in the league, East and West, met on the court, and it was the Thunder prevailing over the Cavaliers by 20 points in a rout, 134-114. In another rout, it was the Clippers over the Trailblazers by 29 points, 118-89. Kings over the Rockets, Pacers down the Pistons, and it was the Suns defeating the Wizards. In the NHL, there were three close games. In overtime, Maple Leafs beat the Devils 4-3. In overtime, the Capitals shut the Senators out 1-0. And in a shootout, the Lightning beat the Ducks 4-3. In other action, Predators beat the Blackhawks. It was the Red Wings over the Panthers. Blue Jackets beat the Sharks. Blues over the Flames. Canadiens beat the Stars. The Jets were winners over the Kraken by a 2-1 score. Rangers beat Utah. And in a rally, the Avalanche down the Oilers. And the Kings beat the Canucks. This is SRN Sports. NCAA men's top 25 college basketball, 3 games, all upsets of ranked teams. The first one is Oregon State upsetting number 16 Gonzaga in overtime, 97-89. Temple downed number 19 Memphis, and Minnesota upset number 20 Michigan. In Australian Open tennis, a new name for us to know, Lerner Tien. He's become the youngest American man to reach the Australian Open third round since Pete Sampras did it in 1990. He's 19 years old from California, and he upset the 5th-seeded Daniil Medvedev in a marathon 5-set match. In men's play, 3rd-seeded Carlos Alcaraz has advanced to 4th-round play, as has Novak Djokovic. And on the women's singles side, Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff advance. And one more heartwarming story from the Australian Open. American tennis player Taylor Fritz donating the $82,000 he won for relief funds for people in his home state of California. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. The Clinton Maroons boys basketball team opens its Central Illinois Conference slate tonight with a visit to Shelbyville off of a 57-46 loss to Monticello Tuesday. Coach Vic Binkley was proud of the fight his team showed. They overcame 2 double-digit deficits. Unfortunately, down the stretch, they missed some free throws and couldn't find that big basket.
We just couldn't hit that one big shot. Keaton started taking the ball to the hole and scoring for us, and I think they did a great job on him. They put a very athletic kid on him, the young kid, and they got a nice club, and for us to, like I said, come back twice, being down 10, I think we was down 11 first half. Got it to 4, I know, the second time. But we missed some free throws. You can't miss free throws. But we played hard defense, and we actually out-rebounded them by 1. And we'll take that. I mean, with our size, we're so small. That's a tough way to being on our home floor. And, it just didn't seem like we got the right breaks at the right time. That's hard to fight back like that, especially twice, but they did it, and I'm proud of them for doing that. So we got to get a little better. We got to hit some shots. Definitely not having Anthony hurts us, but we had some people step up tonight. So I was, Caden Harris came in and guarded Young when Colton got in foul trouble. Jaden Bell did a good job for us. We're going to be all right, but we just we start the conference Friday. We're going to Shelbyville, so we got to see what we're what we got to do.
The Central Illinois Conference will be a real challenge with several teams playing good basketball. Coach Binkley believes his team will be up for the challenge.
Tuscola, they beat us by 4. And Warrensburg, they're the best team they've had in a long time. So it's up for grabs on the right night. Meridian's coming on. They beat Maroa the other night. A&M's beat Maroa.
And Maroa got you guys early, right?
So. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting conference race. And then, the thing about that, you get halfway through the conference, and then you have the conference tournament. Then you go back to the conference race. We're going to keep plugging and try to win some ball games, and definitely these kids aren't going to quit.
As the Maroons embark on the CIC slate, Coach Binkley says his team needs to shoot the basketball better, but he feels Monticello was a very good litmus test for his team. He will review some situational things with the kids to find ways to improve.
Shooting. definitely we got to become better outside shooters, better free throw shooters. We take care of the ball. We play hard defense, and we've been rebounding well. It's just going to come down to we got to shoot the ball. We take care of the ball. We don't turn the ball over very often. We're under 10 most of the time. It's nice to know that we're going to take care of the ball and run an offense, and we just step up and hit that big shot. We played a pretty good team. We played them close, and they took T-Town right down to the wire. They're playing pretty good, and we feel to be right there and not play our best. That's something we got to do. We got to learn to play our best when we have big games. We just look at some situations that could have got better, try to learn from that, and move on. That's all you can do. You can't dwell on it. You don't have time. We got to get ready for Shelbyville.
The Central Illinois Conference looks strong again this year with Warrensburg, Latham, and Tuscola the likely favorites. Coach Binkley believes there's no reason if his team plays good basketball, they can't be a part of that conversation. Last week, Blue Ridge Senior boys basketball player Isaac Price reached 1,000 career points. Price, who stands 6'4", has gone through a couple of transitions in his time at Blue Ridge, and notes scoring 1,000 points wasn't something he thought he'd ever reach, but says it was really cool to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, it was a big accomplishment for sure. It was something that definitely, before, if you would have asked me if it was something I would have got done, I never would have said I did. But putting in the hard work, working all the time, overtime, every day over the summer, 6-7 days a week since freshman year, took a lot of work to get to this point. So yeah, I was aware it was going to come in during the year. I didn't know what time, what game it was going to be, but I was just trying to keep it, knowing it was going to come, but not forcing too much. Just have it come naturally, because I knew it was going to happen regardless. So, but it felt surreal. It was a great moment to have with all the players on the team and everything. It was great.
Price started his time at Blue Ridge High School as a traditional big man, but Coach Hunter Green eventually moved him to a stretch forward. Price indicates he had to work on his ball handling to become a better scorer when that happened.
It was something I knew was going to have to happen. I knew I wasn't going to grow that much. I came in just like 6'2". I've grown maybe 2 inches since then. So, it definitely was a tough transition to make, especially working on the ball handling and getting the shot better. But I knew I was going to have to do it to make the team better, so I just put my head down, went to work, and I got it done. Ball handling was definitely the biggest thing I had to work on. I wasn't able to really dribble as a guard at all. I was able to maybe put one dribble on the floor, and that was all I was confident with. But now this year, I'm able to do, I feel like, just take any defender off the dribble. I'm confident with that. Definitely ball handling and playmaking was definitely the other thing I worked really hard to get better at for sure.
Coach Hunter Green says it wasn't a knock against his leading scorer, but he did not think Price would reach 1,000 points for his career. He's very proud of Price for embracing the change in position and for working hard to get better each year he's been in the program.
To be honest, no. Well, first year, no. We did. That isn't necessarily against Isaac. That's more of just the program itself. Now, his sophomore year, yes, we started to see things develop, and as he was a freshman. But in terms of the program, no, I didn't think we would ever have 1,000-point score. But as we started to see the program get better and saw that Isaac got better, we saw the potential. So his game is kind of a stretch 4. He's always been a great shooter since he walked in. The thing I'll say about Isaac, though, is that he's developed so much in the last 4 years to where he was just a post player when we came in, but he's basically developed into a guard. It's a big thing that I preach around here is, unless you're 6'9", 6'10", walking in the door, you're a guard. And so Isaac has really taken that to heart, and he's developed his ball handling. His shooting was already good, but it's gotten so much better. I think that also just speaks to the kind of person Isaac is really understanding how to get better at things and taking those opportunities.
Price enjoys hanging out with his friends, playing basketball, and recently has gotten into playing chess. His favorite teacher is Colin Skurlock, who teaches science. His favorite classes are science classes. He brings his lunch to school every day with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some goldfish, and a variety of fruits. If he has to eat the school lunch, he enjoys the school's chicken nuggets and orange chicken. And when he goes out, he enjoys getting food from Wingstop. Coach Green praises Price's dedication to the classroom and says he's a very good student. 4 players scored in double figures, and the Clinton Lady Maroons took home a big 60-53 victory over Tuscola Thursday night in Central Illinois Conference play from Tuscola. Carly Anderson led Clinton with 23 points. Lila Kluver had 14, Clara Dempsey added 11, and Reagan Filkin finished with 10 points. Tuscola led 45-40 after 3 quarters, but Clinton used a 20-8 fourth quarter to pull out the victory. Tuscola drops to 10-8 overall and 1-2 in the Central Illinois Conference. The Lady Maroons improved to 16-5 overall, and they are 3-0 in the CIC. Clinton will host Maroa Forsyth next Wednesday. Megan Allen and Allie Widener paced a balanced Monticello attack in an easy 55-19 win over Paxton Buckley Loda Thursday night at the Seaver Center in high school girls Illini Prairie Conference basketball action. Allen had 16 points to lead all scorers. Widener finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Lucy Leatherwood and Sarah Cressup each had 8 points for the Lady Sages. Monticello visits Maroa Forsyth Saturday afternoon. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Today, with daytime highs approaching